Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lightshare. Today, we are celebrating a very special moment for us. It's our 1K,
1,000
1,000 subs.
subscribers, dude. I still can't believe it.
1,000 people watching us, or at least that click subscribe, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's already a big victory.
been a pretty long journey. How long it's been since we started? It's
3
August right
years.
now, almost
Yep.
ending August.
20,
3 years,
20.
right?
Mm-hmm.
2020.
Isn't that crazy?
Man.
Like, August is when we started, and we got 1,000 subscribers in August, 3 years later.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. Like,
That's a long road.
Dang coincidence.
And I know that the number is like symbolic and stuff, but more than the numbers, like the amount of effort we put into this, like many episodes later, you start to see the numbers grouping up, and yeah, it's just what it symbolizes for us, like a milestone, because let's be honest, 1,000 subs is not really impressive, but it's like, what a start, right? Because it feels like the hardest thing to get to.
yeah.
And from here on, I'm not saying like it's gonna be easier, but dude, it's a pretty good start,
Yeah, I think it's just the amount of effort it takes to make that first tick, right? That's what
It's like one thing off the list,
yeah.
It's going to propel
Get
us in
to
the right
1,000.
direction from this point on.
Yeah,
So it's like the groundwork for now.
exactly.
And we haven't made like that many episodes, right? It's like this is what, number 37.
This must be, almost 30 something, almost 40 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a little bit more than one a month for 3 years, right? That's the
Yo,
Yeah, we got to
thank you
toast.
guys. For you, for this
for you
channel,
guys.
for many more episodes together. Thank you so much.
We'll just keep doing it until that's the thing,
Exactly.
right? I think none of us was actually looking at the number until it got to like 1,000. We were like, yeah, we're growing,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
cool. Let's just keep doing it.
But on top of
now
all
it's like-
this, yeah, we've grown a lot as people as well, not just artists,
Yeah.
but physically, mentally, mindset wise. So we can talk about a little bit of that. Like, especially from our first videos, how we kind of carried ourselves and how we sort of talked to the audience as well. I don't know, it just felt like a different era. What do you guys think?
I was just checking out some of the first episodes. In fact, we might have to come up with some better trailer for the channel or something. This first video you see when you visit our channel, like the gallery, the homepage from the channel. There's this very first episode we did where Andre's like demoing as he paints a car or something.
When Andre
that
did
painting is
his
so
face.
bad, dude. I have that forever stamped in our channel.
But like the audio is so uneven. He didn't even have the webcam back there. I remember he was the only one who wouldn't show his face, right? So
You're like, why?
if you consider all these improvements, like the gear, the equipment, everything we've been putting into improving our setup and just basically investing into the channel, not only with our time but also like our own money and stuff, because this is not monetized, and it was never our direct intent, first intention to like, yeah, let's make money off of YouTube, because we know how that goes. Perhaps maybe over time, who knows, if the channel keeps growing, of course. But what's important to me is that we are actually enjoying this beyond the art itself, like we went on to explore some other topics outside of the artistic bubble, which is, I guess, relating to what you were talking about, Dom. Like, we've learned a lot on many other
Motivation.
aspects too.
Yeah, mindset, mentality. Because this all ties in with all the art stuff. It's not just one without the other. Art requires discipline, and you can't make a fulfilling career if you're not disciplined. So
Dude, I'm looking at the first episode, and you guys look like totally different people. It's like it
I'm too
honestly, I know it's
embarrassed.
just 3 years, but it looks like if it passed like 10 years from that moment, like
Yeah.
it looked like kids on the first one.
Yeah, dude. Plus, I don't know, like my English was a little different, my accent, everything. I would say we've improved in so many ways, you
I
know.
still wore glasses at the time, and I was out of shape completely.
You didn't have any facial hair.
Yeah. And
It's
yeah,
been a while.
I think during that time we didn't really have much about mindset until like last year or a year and a half ago, right? We didn't really talk much about
Yeah,
that.
at that time I was like basically going with the flow, you know. I was in that state of mind, let's say, that mentality of like, yeah, whatever happens, you know. Um I tend to see it as like chapters of your life. Like on one chapter you try one thing, next chapter you try something else. You see how that goes. You try to force things to happen. You see it doesn't work, then you try not to do anything, see if anything comes up. Then you see none of that works until you find like a balance, you know, some midpoint between those approaches.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's been for you guys since the very beginning of this channel. Like if you want, I can make like a quick summary. I always love to come back to the way this channel came to happen because we start having these Discord calls and conversations between ourselves, and we realize that we actually always, every single time, end up discussing some deep subject matter or something that we think, man, could you imagine? Like maybe someone else would be interested in hearing more about this. Yeah, we should record these. And I'm like, can you imagine posting this somewhere on the internet? And then Dom hears about it. He's like, what? Yeah, that's a good idea. Boom, creates a channel, comes back. Hey guys, I made the channel. What? Already? Yeah, tomorrow we're recording the first episode. What the heck? This is already happening. So, yeah, that's that's a great approach, you know, the just do it mindset.
Yeah, I
Pull
think
the
so.
trigger because you never know when the next opportunity is going to happen. So you just have to take the plunge. And I'm glad we did because we all have things to talk about. There's so many topics to explore. And like, especially us, we're all like-minded individuals. So it's great that we can relate in values as well as like expand our horizons about things. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it how, you know, I like how sometimes, even though we're like-minded individuals, we each seem to have our own, let's say, hues on the spectrum of ways of thinking and stuff. So I like this contrast that arises from whatever we're discussing, right? Some of us says something like the opposite of what I say or what you say, right? And that's cool because to be able to have this conversation without losing your shit, keeping your stuff together, and just being I don't know how to define it, like
A
civil, I guess.
decent human being.
Yeah, yeah, just like
Normal. That's
normal, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, I see what you mean. We are already like, as Dom said, like very like-minded, but within the same value set, because I think that's what we all share, right? The same values. We do have very different perspectives, like on life and different approaches to it. Um, and we do have the tendency to take things into less of a like straight up factual and practical standpoint, and more towards like like especially me and you, Adrian, we have the tendency to like expand and talk about like subjective things quite a bit.
We were just
And
talking about that, right?
yeah, exactly. And I was looking
How
at the
every
other
episode
video,
goes down the same way.
but the cool thing about it is that I think that's part of what relates to people, because your unique experience, of course, only happened to you, but the subjective things that happen like underneath the surface, right? That's what we all like share in common.
Yeah.
And I do think that part of the benefit is like they see us disagreeing and agreeing on things and like sticking to the friendship because we know that what sticks us together are the values, right? So
Yeah.
I think any relationship it's like that. As long as the values are there, like you
Yeah.
share those in common and you can agree on like some basic stuff. The surface level things, they are just that, they're just surface level. And
It's like a healthy duality, you know? Like this
yeah,
division happening, like team one, team two, right? But still, it's
The same team.
like two different sides
Yeah.
of the same coin, right? Because you don't lose your awareness. You don't lose track of where you are, where you belong. So,
and you're
you
not
know, you're
competing
still a
with
part
each
of this.
other, right? Like that's the
Exactly.
thing.
You're just exploring, right? Hey, why do you think that way? Oh, it's because of this and that. And then I challenge your views, right? And then you make a comeback. You explain to me why you're right, and why, maybe I want to take a look into your way of thinking. But you're not trying to convince me of anything. You're just like offering, like, hey, this is why, in case you want to
Yeah.
know.
I think most of the time I'm trying to understand like, the way that
Yeah.
you think about things or the way that Dom thinks about things, and just trying to like compare that to how I see stuff and take the better options. Like as if you are looking at like two products, right? You have one and your friend offers you one, and then you just actually look at them like and compare them. And if the one
Yeah.
that you just got is better, okay, then you toss the other one out and you got a better one. Like you're not
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
hammer everything else with your own stuff, right? Which
But then most of the time, you also realize that it's basically they're just as good. It's just that
Yeah.
this one
Take one piece
yeah,
from
is
one,
like, yeah,
one
this
piece
one
from
is
the
more
other.
round. This one is sharper. This one has more blue. This one has more green, or whatever, the colors. But essentially, they're kind of different representations of the same thing. So that's what I think makes this a beautiful experience, because it's actually the same thing with the world if you pay attention.
Yeah.
Everything's so different and so alike at the same time.
True.
yeah, everything is the same thing.
Everything's not just black and white. Everything
And here
has
we go.
nuances.
We're just going down the road now, down the rabbit hole with these things. Because we were saying, like, let's keep it simple this time. I don't think it's going to last long. It's
We can
just a
still keep it
celebration
simple.
episode,
Dude,
special.
I'm watching the episodes while we talk, like and the first one that I show my face is the third one, and I'm actually using my phone to record it. So that's how janky we were.
I
Ain't
was
that
using
beautiful,
my
bro? Like,
webcam mic to speak to you
But
guys.
you were using a webcam or something in the
Yeah.
beginning.
I was using my webcam and I had it here to speak to you guys instead of like an actual mic. And then I think 2021 is when I got like a real mic finally upgraded.
Probably at some point in the future, when we turn this into a physical location like studio, where we all three, come inside of the same room and have these
That'd be dope.
discussions in person. Yeah, Lightshare Studios or something. Um, then we will remember this episode the way we're talking right now. Like, at the very beginning, I was using a webcam. That's so lame, bro. Like, it's like as if right now we're sort of using this high end equipment or
And then
something
we're gonna be using
compared to what
these,
we will be.
these
Exactly. You
cameras.
see, like many of those, right?
We'll just have them pointed at us.
Yeah. But hey, everything has, like, there's these steps we're following. And, what's cool about this journey is that we have recorded some of the first ones,
Mhm.
including, like Andrea was pointing out, like the way we were looking back then, the way we look right now, the gear we use, the way our minds have evolved.
So
Everything.
much has happened in only 3 years, which is pretty crazy to think about. It hasn't even been like 10 years or longer
To
than
It's
me,
that.
it
funny
feels
because
like it's
for
been way longer.
for a
Yeah.
lot of people, 3 years would seem too long. I do feel like some people might look at that and say like, "Oh, it took 3 years to get to 1K. Like that's too long. Your guys not like are not really putting the effort in." But the way that I see it, like, let's say that you live 80 years, or 90, like three, it's like scratching the surface. Like you're
Yeah.
barely
Yeah.
you're barely started.
And
So
we're not even like in our late 30s yet. We're still pretty young, so just imagine what this is like the start of everything. These first 3 years.
I remember watching a video talking about the way you experience time and how it gets exponentially, like you have the impression that time is running faster the more you age, right? So we're talking maybe people in their 50s, 60s, 70s are experiencing time way different than a 10-year-old, for instance. And this just reminds me of, like, when you thought about school, like the whole year, and how slow time would pass, each week until because you have, like, you make these goals like Christmas, then, you know,
Mhm.
Easter, then it's like these celebrations that would signify breaks in the school system, right? So you
Yeah.
can take some days off. Um, and maybe that's what made time pass so slow, perhaps. But when you're actually focused on whatever you're trying to do, right? You feel like you don't have enough time. It's like a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is what happened with this channel since the very beginning. We just focused on, we didn't have any, metric goals. Like, hey, let's get to 1K by September 2021. We didn't have anything like that. We just said, let's make episodes. Who are we inviting
I think
next?
that just puts
Let's
more
see who's
unneeded
down.
stress for the when you have this set milestone. Oh, we got to reach this by this month, It puts
Yeah,
a lot
because
of
we were just
unnecessary
enjoying
pressure.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some
Again,
people, like,
it's
that stuff works for them. But, like, for us, I think our experience is different, where we just want to see where the journey takes us, right? We're not, like,
well, it
pinpointing
depends on
every
how you
single
approach it, right?
thing. Yeah.
If you're starting a channel because you want to turn it into a business right away, then yeah, it might come with some more stress, some more uh, bad feelings and, like, doubt and a lot of that. But if you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna create a channel and make videos and see what happens, with no expectations,
The
because
more
we
natural
eventually
route.
wanted to
Yeah.
just simply we just wanted to record these episodes and release them, right, and see what happens.
Hmm.
And to our surprise, people seem to be interested. And, I'm going to take this moment to acknowledge those comments encouraging us to make more. Yeah, talk more about this. Make another episode on this. Can you guys please review this thing or talk about the industry, getting jobs, or whatever, portfolio reviews and all that stuff. So that's awesome, to have that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
yeah, I do think the fact that like we're not putting pressure in terms of making this be our source of income gives it some form of like purity in a sense that we can take it anywhere. Like
Hmm.
we're not really dependent on it. So it really, because if you want to make something just for it to make money, you do have to make the decisions that will make it like work, right? It needs to work financially. It needs to be like the thing that will get you more clicks faster. And the fact that we don't do that and people are still relating to it, I think that's what makes me happy when I look at the channel, is the fact like, hey, I look at the videos and that's us, right? It's like our personality in the
Yeah.
form of a channel. We are not like
It,
faking
yeah.
anything. we're not forcing ourselves to record when we don't want to record. Like there are periods
Yeah.
of time where we haven't posted a video in like 2 months, and then we just like, okay, guys, time to do it again, or we share something that happened to us that we're very happy about, or we do have the tendency to talk a lot about self improvement, and I do think that part of the what really works when you talk about that is that looking at even through the thumbnails, right? Looking at our faces through time, you really see the improvement, like making an effect on us. It's like
Yeah.
it's visually there,
in our bodies,
and
everything.
yeah,
But
and it's cool to see that it's kind of like a timeline, you know, like you have okay,
Exactly.
this is when it's like I don't know 5 years from now we look back at it, it's
Yeah.
like 8 years of improvement being recorded on camera. That's like
You can see the footprints, right?
Mhm.
That we
you can see
left.
the footprints. Yeah.
it's wild. Yeah.
So that's cool because it relates to what I said earlier about like um going with the flow or forcing everything into a strict schedule, you know, because we tried that too, right? There was a moment where we said, hey guys, we got to become more serious about this. So let's commit to a schedule. Let's kind of put this on a calendar. And that was honestly a very cool episode because you can't just let chaos run you, right? So at some point you have to come down and control something, some part of it.
Yeah.
And despite having this insane liberty to record whenever we feel like, we actually did say, hey guys, let's agree on a certain schedule, you know, at least for a certain type of content. For instance, let's make one episode of this kind a month, right? Doesn't sound as overwhelming as like one a week, right?
Mhm.
Because this is not the only thing we spend our time doing. The channel is not, we don't gravitate around the channel, right? We have more things going on in our lives, our own personal projects, our jobs, other things to attend. And if this was the only thing we had to spend our time on, I can guarantee we would be so much further ahead. But we're not complaining.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's further ahead, you know, because then you are like, um, you are comparing like the situation that you are right now with where you could be, but then you don't consider the other stuff, right? I think it would be very
Exactly.
hypocritical if we
Well-
were
Without
like,
considering anything else.
yeah, if we were like preaching for you to have like more balance in your life and have goals and like work on each aspect in your life to improve everything at once, and then in our own lives we would like give away everything to work only on the channel, right? I think it would be super weird to be that person.
If
So
I'm
the fact that
ever-
the channel,
Yeah.
yeah, the fact that the channel is
But
like
sometimes
slow
you are
going,
that person though.
If I'm ever
For
out
a
of a
while.
job, I'll work on the channel 10 times harder. I will
Yeah, no,
use
what
that
I mean
free
is like
time
you're
Yeah.
running,
and
this is
devote it.
a marathon, right? It's a
Yeah.
marathon.
yeah,
And sometimes you have to sprint, but only for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what
I
I
think
consider.
like you have multiple different pieces, right?
Mhm.
Each piece is one aspect of your life, and sometimes you push one like a little bit harder than the other ones, but you
Exactly.
don't
Yeah.
forget the other ones behind, right? You take
Yeah,
all of
you have to
them.
make them catch up at some
Yeah,
point.
exactly. So there are years where like, oh, I'm more focused on work this year, or I'm more focused on like my family, or I'm more focused on my health, or like whatever it is, right? But it's never a one aspect gets zero attention. It's always like, okay, this one will get like some attention, this one get a little
Yeah.
bit more, and that's how we balance things. And in a couple of months, we did dedicate like, as an example, the shorts push, right? That was a month
Yeah.
where we dedicated a lot of attention to the channel,
It's a way for
and
us to experiment as well with
yeah,
what
see
works,
what people
what doesn't
relate
work.
to.
Because this is an ever-changing platform, right? Like every
Yeah.
time they're changing something. Now this doesn't work the same way. Now thumbnails are way more important than the title. Now the hashtags are this or that. So it's like, what, bro? I can't keep up with everything, right? Like I just want to make videos, and yeah, at that point you just commit to having fun and just
Is
doing
there
this for the
any
sake of it.
episode that is like the top highlight for you guys?
Top highlights.
Yeah.
Dang.
I've had many favorites, not gonna lie.
Let me check on my phone because I can't
Hard for me to
interrupt the
point down
recording.
like a single one.
Yeah, it's hard, like I don't think there's one
I
single
can,
one, but like
yeah, Dom, I can share my screen if you want.
Sure, if you wanna, you can look.
Here you go. I might have to zoom in a little bit like this. If
Yeah,
that's
that's
better.
fine.
yeah, we can see
See
it.
what I say? See what I'm saying about the
That
this
drawing,
is the
don't show
trailer.
it.
This is no, I mean that's cool. It's just that I think we can do a better one, you know, because
Yeah, yeah.
technically you can use any video you want from your channel and turn it into
You can
this
have a
trailer
custom
kind of
one, right? Kind of like just
thing. Of course.
Yeah,
So I don't know, bro. From
there
like
are so many good
episode,
ones
like
for sure.
podcast episode, I tend to like a lot the deep ones, the ones where we get into something that really makes you think and wonder, right? Like the one we did with Christian Nee that I can't
Yeah,
seem to find here.
it's
it's
down, it's
That
the
down, I
mega
believe.
question,
Yeah.
millionaire
that mega
question.
question. Yeah, the what would you do with $1 billion or something like that?
Mhm.
Because it's easy, you know, like when you think about it, like, oh, $1 billion, easy. I'll do this, this, and
Life would
that,
be
and then you
awesome, yeah. But
no, wait. Think about it. Think about it. You have $1 billion, bro. Stuff like that, right?
John's podcast was pretty insightful about a lot of
The
industry
the one
stuff,
with John Park.
business. That one just
Yeah.
flowed perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the one with Dharmar was really cool from the
Yeah.
you know that spiritual perspective on life and stuff. That stuff I loved it. And I mean it's you know
Every
I
episode
don't know
was
if it's
pretty good.
fair to do
yeah,
it this way
I'm
because
not
it's
trying to
like
put
all
them
of
on a
them.
rank, right? I'm not
Yeah,
trying to do that.
all of
But
them are.
I'm more
All
like,
of them had
okay,
something.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. Like there are highlights about each one of those.
Yeah.
Like I really do like Seed's episode about like developing personal projects because he did like made a short movie himself, and like
Exactly.
Dom, he showed us how if you take feedback from like you actually take the feedback from the people that give you feedback, that might
Yeah.
give you like way more opportunities.
Yeah. Also, our
When you
thumbnails kind of changed.
when you guys started doing the Lightshare labs, yeah, that was cool.
Bro,
as well.
these Lightshare Labs thing, they were a game changer.
Yeah.
Cause see,
How much is that?
this
Wait.
was the first one, right? So
Or how many views is the moody environment one? I can't really see it. 8K?
which one? Oh, 8K, yes.
Oh shoot.
So as you can see, people loved your your stuff, Dom. They really liked it.
It's time for you guys to shine.
Yeah,
We need
I
to put
mean,
your guys' work out there more. 'Cause
Yeah,
I hate
that
having
way
to
we lose
steal-
subscribers. I love it.
No, because you know it'll bring like new perspective into how like the art is, you know, not just through my lens.
Have you guys
But
felt like your art changed as well as time
yeah.
went by with our podcast?
I think my
definitely
art
improved.
did change a little bit. I mean, you guys have told me that a lot of times lately. Because I haven't posted much, you know, NDA, like you can't show this, can't show that, but you've been working on stuff for 2 years and now you can't show anything. But you can now see, like what we were talking before about the footprints, you know, like the steps you've been leaving behind.
Yeah.
And you can see the evolution and how you changed and the way you approach painting or design or 3D even. So, so yeah, I don't know. That's on my
Self-development.
end.
That we started going into self-improvement like in the later half. It like slowly transitioned. You can see it was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Look, the
thoughts on
very
social
beginning,
media, burnout. And then,
honestly, this is the way you do it, right? You don't wait until you find the perfect time, the perfect moment, perfect title, thumbnail. You just make
Mhm.
one, put it up there, make a second one based on the first one, and improve it. Do the same on the third one, fourth one, fifth one. You go like, what went wrong here? Like, what the fuck is this? And
But
then
you know
you
what
keep
I really like about the first ones is that like you do have these top subjects that every artist struggle with, right? You don't have to do something that is like 100% original and cover a topic that no one ever covered before, right? Those are
Yeah.
topics that every single art podcast ever like already covered as well. We're just giving
Mhm.
our take on it, and the fact that we're doing something that is common per se, and we're still like being able to add to it and like contribute to the talk. I think that's a great way to approach anything that we're doing, right? Because if you wait
Yeah.
until you have like the brilliant idea that no one ever had to do something, you might be waiting for a while. Like that might not work that well. Um,
It's because it's not about reinventing the wheel or anything like that. It's just precisely the fact that you have some unique input into a very commonly discussed subject matter, what makes it special, that is coming from you. It's like, I want to hear Andre say something about this. I've heard a lot of other artists talking about, I don't know, spaceship design, right? But I want to
It's
hear
always
from
the
Andre.
same stuff from different art podcasts, right? They always go over what was your journey like, who'd you learn from, you know.
Mhm.
But it's only
Remember
surface
how in the
level.
beginning we were kind of like, hey, should we follow like a script for each guest?
Oh yeah,
Like, how did you grow up? How did you end up doing art? And all that stuff.
it's always
And
the
I
same
feel
thing.
like they've been asked that question 1,000 times in every interview they've had, right?
I mean, I
Plus,
have.
yeah,
that that makes a difference. That word I said, like, this is not an interview. We always make
Yeah.
sure to kind of let people know that this is not an interview. It's just you come into our house and we're going to just have a chat. You feel like home, you feel comfortable, and make sure you enjoy the conversation. There's not a specific thing to talk about unless you want it, but
Mhm.
just,
We're
just
sure
have
to
fun.
talk. Yeah.
Just yeah. So I feel like that's one way to make the guest feel a lot more comfortable because like, oh, thank God it's not like a super serious thing, you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
very
because then
formal
you trip over
kind
your
of
words a lot of times, and
yeah.
yeah, you'll say the wrong
It
thing.
doesn't sound natural, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not really because if you have a specific set of rules that you are like going by, that that freezes you in a way that you can't explore different ideas with that particular
Hmm.
person. And I feel like you're also not like extracting the most out of the conversation, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone has their own particularities and their own like ways of looking at the world, and if we can explore that, it's the same idea that we do amongst ourselves, right? Like we're exploring stuff and learning, and each time that someone comes in that is like has a different perspective is another opportunity to learn as well. So yeah, it's cool, it's fine that they share like their own journeys, but I do think it's better if they share like the most impactful parts of those lives, right? So we build
Yeah.
this meta story of all the most impactful parts of every like person that comes in, and which are just learning
It's
from
like
their
a
experiences,
puzzle,
right?
give them the pieces to be put together. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like that we're doing this, bros. I like, I don't know, it's the feeling of progress, like you're actually moving forward.
What do you guys
And it's
foresee?
precise.
Like, what do you guys predict in the next couple of years? Where do you imagine ourselves to be at in like 3 years' time, or at
So
least five
at the
years?
2K celebration, what do you guys envision?
um,
Well,
I don't know if we keep this pace,
hopefully by that
maybe
time
growth.
we'll expand
Yeah.
the Lightshare Discord, and we can invite more people in, and then have like challenges
Right.
and
Yeah,
all that
That's
stuff.
another thing we wanted to talk about, right? Because we're trying to build this community and
Yeah.
we feel like we were lacking a little bit of engagement also on our side because, we've been busy. We've been dealing with some events in our lives, some opportunities, some stuff we had to take care of. And of course, that's when I'm mentioning earlier in this episode that if all we did in life was this channel, things would be a little different, right? but that's not what life is, and we each have our own things. And yeah, what I'm saying is that if we keep down this path, um, we're definitely going to get somewhere and eventually create a community. And we would like to invite all of you to join and share your thoughts and everything. Um, we could leave our Discord link in the description, right? I'm not sure how that works. Maybe it's a permanent invitation or something that expires. I'm not sure how it works. We'll figure it out. But yeah, anyone interested, just hit any of us up on any social media. Even though we're not, I know Andre is not much on Instagram, neither am I. But when we join, sometimes we check messages and stuff. So just so you know, if you have
Yeah.
any questions or anything, hit us up. We'll link you to the Discord and you can join and share your work and make friends and just meet more people who are also on the same path as you are. So, yeah, I think it's a beautiful experience.
We'll probably
Yeah,
get
I
a
do
lot of
think that.
people coming in, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I do think
Hopefully.
the idea is to continue to share like the development. I definitely felt like because you just mentioned that you're not as much on Instagram. I definitely felt like as time went by, I kind of became more introspective in the social media arena, But having like a small community where people actually know each other, not just like random names, that
Yeah.
might be like a cool thing for it because then you can actually see everyone's progress, right? Like you're there like
Yeah.
every day, and then posting them their studies and like their own journey. I think that's cool, and I do hope to be able to share again my own journey, like to continue this like development cycle. Uh, just because I feel like things are changing so much in like in the art world recently, and I do feel like the next few years will be so interesting to see how things change. Um, I think like personality and your own voice will be so much more important now. Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
in terms of not only style, but like
How you
what
deal
you
with it, how
communicate.
you react to the things
Your
happening,
own life
Yeah,
the
experiences in your
opportunities.
work too.
yeah,
What do you bring to the
Yeah.
I think
table?
so. Yeah, like this past year, I've been very much in this introspective journey to reflect on what I want from my life, like in the artistic sense. And I look at you guys, and you seem so developed in that side of your life, right? Like
I'm still figuring it
so
out.
established, right? Yeah, I know, but it's the impression that it gives, right? And I think that sharing the fact that we are doing that and not being like embarrassed by the fact that we're continuously learning, I think that's one of the better and the healthiest aspects of light share in general. Like it's the fact that
Mhm.
we are forever works in progress. Like we're forever
Yeah.
developing. We are never stopping. This is the whole like self improvement thing. It's never done. So
Yeah. It's a constant hunger for optimization or improvement or just more, but not from a greedy perspective, just from a purely functional point of view, right? So that this might lead you to believe that, oh, those people are never happy, right? Because they were happy, they wouldn't need anymore. But
It's
in
about
reality,
becoming the best version.
it's about no, it's
Or,
it's just about fulfillment, like you
mhm.
feel fulfilled, you're happy with who you are, where you are right now.
Yeah.
But you could do better. And that's why you aspire to those higher standards and you're trying to reach for them. That's the journey.
Mhm.
That's what we're trying to share, right? So when Andres says, I feel like you guys are way more developed lately, we do feel that way, right? We feel like, oh, bro, you don't know. Like we're nowhere near where we would like to be. And it's like, yeah, I know, but that's what it looks like from outside. So
yeah,
I think that's happening for everybody. Like anyone you look up to, they're like, oh, bro, they're the
I'm
best.
so
They're like
behind,
so,
right? Yeah.
yeah, I'm so behind. They're doing so much better. The thing is, you don't know what's inside their minds, right? The battle they're going through, like
Lots
maybe
of
inside of their
stress.
minds, they're the ones behind you, right? But
Yeah.
you don't know
It's
because they
the
never told you. So yeah, that's the interesting part of this is never one-sided. It's never like, oh, you're a better artist or you're a better whatever. It's like everything you do, you find time to write books, to post on social media, to make YouTube videos, to work on your own projects, to take care of your family, to work your job, to take more opportunities, to expand in this way and that other way, to work out, to learn this new skill. Like, bro, how do you do that? Right? So
That's
it's
what we
a
want to
lot more
share.
than one
Yeah.
single thing.
How
Yeah.
to embrace or get into that type of mentality where you can do a lot of things at once. So
How to
you don't
tackle
yeah.
everything at once.
Because I feel like a lot of people have the question to that. You know, how do I balance my work life with exercise, with taking breaks, with, you know, all this stuff? Because I only have like this many hours of the day. How do I do all that like you guys? So they always look up to us for that, I guess. So we want to share that, and that it's possible to do it. You just have to like switch your mentality, your mindset, and get rid of those distractions that we always talk about. Like the video games, the junk food, sleeping
Endless
late.
scrolling,
Yeah.
entertainment.
Meaningless stuff, dude.
This is what we talk about all the time. So
Yeah, but we only talk about it because it does make a difference, right?
yeah.
And by the way, like we may have, of course, there's so many of you who are in the same place, like on the same spot as we are, going through the same stuff. The only difference between you and I is that you and us is that we are actually talking about it, we're posting it, and you're only reaching out maybe through some message, some DM or something like that, right? But we're essentially going through the same thing. And this is the common ground that I'd like to call where we put these things in perspective for everyone to be relating to it. Like, yeah, I did that too, but for me it was this way. And you read it and you go like, ah, yeah, that's cool. Like that's a very valid point too. For me, it happened this other way, but we got to the same place, both of us, right? So yeah, that's what we're trying to say here is that we're no I don't feel like an expert on anything, you know. No one I think no
Not
one
at
feels
all,
like it.
dude. Not
Like
at
when
all.
because sometimes when
We're
you
not
talk,
Andrew
like when you
Huberman.
hear
Alright.
Dom speak about certain things, you know, you feel like, damn, this guy knows a lot. And maybe he inside of his mind, he's like,
I'm just
yeah, I'm
borrowing it
barely
from
he's like,
somewhere else.
you're like just bro, I'm barely getting started, you know, I don't know shit yet. I'm still learning.
Well,
But to some of us, it feels like he knows a lot.
I mean, it's all based on our experiences, right? Because we've been through, you know, the meat grinder.
That's the thing.
Lives.
That's the
And we're
thing,
trying
right?
to
You're just speaking from within.
yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to share our past setbacks so that you don't have to go through it and just learn from us, right?
For a
Because
second
it'll
there,
lessen
I
the
thought you were
blow.
going to say, just try to share our lights.
Our brightest.
Yeah.
Light up the darkness.
Stay on brand. But yeah,
Yeah.
it totally hits different when you talk from your own experience rather than from having read it on a book or seen it somewhere, having listened to it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
Someone
another
told
thing,
me,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Like, no,
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 Like you
bro,
have
I lived
to.
I'm
it.
just regurgitating
This is how it happened.
this information. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like take our episodes, go there, try it out in your own life, right? And then you come
Yeah.
back and tell us how you did. Like, don't just like
And don't
assume
put
that it's
anything
true or
on a pedestal or anything like that. Don't just consider something as the ultimate truth, right? Just because someone told you. No matter how much you trust them, just go explore, find out on your own, right? And
Mhm.
make sure that that has passed through different tests and processing methods on your own internal filtering system that you have for like ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. And ultimately, basically, come up with your own version of it.
Life is constant experimentation. So you can't be afraid to fail. You just have to go through it.
Yeah. And everything seems to be so subjective at some point that you can't just take what worked for Dom, try the same thing, and then
It might
complain
not
because it
work
didn't work
for
for you.
someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So just it's a matter of trying it on your own, testing, just experimenting. see what works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of
guys,
like what we're doing here on this channel, seeing
See what
how
works,
this is
see what
gonna
doesn't
work.
work. Mhm.
Yeah,
Tossing
yeah.
out
Just each episode is like
bad.
a test, you know.
Yeah. Eventually we'll find our rhythm, and then everything will just flow. Like everything will
Yeah.
fall into place.
Yeah. One thing I'll say though is that people seem to like a lot more like those painting episodes where we share like the process and stuff. And no wonder, right? Like it's pretty interesting to see you paint and stuff. But also these ones are significantly less taxing on our time and the effort we have to put into it because we're just simply sitting here recording, talking, right? Even though we have to put some effort at certain degree, but it's by no means the same as like actually having to sit down and paint, and then record everything, edit everything.
but it's fair to say that we are looking at those as well, and like we will try to bring more of those as much as we can. It's just that
Oh yeah, of
the
course. I
rate
didn't
is
say
different.
we wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah,
But just so you know, if there's a little less of those, that's why.
yeah. But
So
anyways, I do think that thank you, the big
That was a
thank you
good
to
note.
everyone. Yeah,
Mhm.
yes,
I
thank you
think
all.
it's yeah. Thank you very much for listening to us and to be here to follow our journey. And I hope to see way more of your guys' journeys as well, because that's how we learn, I guess. So
We'll make another milestone at 2K. So we'll come
that will
back
be
again.
within a month. So that's good.
Yeah, by Christmas. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for following our journey. Make sure you join us in the link we're going to provide in the description or in the pinned comment or something. And join our community. We'll see you there.
All
You
right.
guys.
See you guys.
Until the next one. Bye bye.